So today I'm replacing the oil pressure sending unit for the oil pressure gauge on a 1989 Chevrolet K1500 pickup truck with a 305 engine. You can see underneath all the oil from where it's been leaking for quite a while, and it was a pretty steady leak. The oil pressure sending unit is located right next to the exhaust manifold on the left side of the engine. You can see here on the bottom of the oil pressure sending unit where it's kind of cleaned from where the oil has actually washed the dirt away as it was leaking out. Like I said, this is the sending unit for the oil pressure gauge, not for the oil pressure low light. There are two different sending units. The other sending unit is more of a skinny style rather than a fatter round style like this one is. So I've now started the engine and I'm letting it run so you can actually see the oil coming out of the sending unit. The engine is cold, and so the oil is a little thicker. It actually takes it a little while to leak out, but under normal driving conditions, once it's warmed up, it was actually leaking pretty quick. And you can see here it actually looks like it's been leaking out of both ends of the sending unit. Just after idling for a couple minutes with cold oil, it already dripped out this much oil. The sending unit is well above the oil level, so there's no need to drain the oil for this repair, but I'm doing an oil change while I'm already under here. Now you just need to pull the one wire off of the top. There's no locking clip or anything, and it should just pull right off. To prevent any dirt from getting into the oil system, I'm cleaning off all around the area where I'll be unscrewing the sending unit. I'm going to wipe most of the dirt off with a rag and then use some brake clean to clean it off the rest of the way. It is a 9/16 nut on the bottom of the sending unit. So here's the new sending unit. You want to snug this up pretty good, but there's no need to get really crazy on tightening it. As long as it's in there pretty snug, it should be fine, especially with the sealant that's on the threads from the manufacturer. You can see here just how loose the connection is on the sending unit. So I actually used some pliers to squeeze the connector just a little bit so that when I slid it onto the terminal, it would grip a little better. The best option would have been to cut that connector off and put a new one on, but I figured this would work just fine. So if you did do an oil change, you want to make sure you put oil back in it, obviously. So we'll start the truck back up here and we'll see if the oil pressure gauge is working. It takes just a second to pop up where the oil pressure sending unit was completely empty, and also we drained and refilled the oil. And then you always want to get under there and double check nothing is leaking. Let it run for a while, let the oil warm up. Now you can see here on the gauge, it's reading right between 30 and 60, and before, the gauge would pretty much either read really low or really high, and it would never really read anywhere between there, so this looks a lot more realistic now with the new sending unit. And you can see as you rev the engine up, the pressure changes a little bit, which is normal, so it looks like the new sending unit is working great. Alright, I hope this video maybe helped some of you guys out. If you're maybe having trouble with your oil pressure gauge not reading correctly, or maybe the oil pressure sender is leaking. If it did, please give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you for watching.